Okay, first take a look at this app structure. So there are a few widgets, elements. These are all laid out in a column, like this section, and this section. They're all laid out in a column. And within this column, within this element, these two elements are positioned widget, so they overlapped onto each other. So we have used stacked and position widget to draw them, and the same for over here. Okay, so let's get started. So everything we would put in a column. So the first thing we want to do, we want to draw this background with a beautiful border. So it's pretty easy. So everything in the column. So column should have children, and within children, our first child is a container. Okay, and this container should have a height. So let's give it a height. We'll say 230, and after that give it a box decoration so that we can draw a beautiful border. All right, now give it border radius, and only. We are using border radius only because we want to use border only in one side of this background. So that's where you use border radius only, and in our case it's bottom right. So radius dot I think I spelled it wrong, circular, say 50. All right, yeah, so that's the border we have. And we also want to assign it a color, so let's go ahead and assign color. We'll use blue color, OXFF363F93. Let's go ahead and save it. Let's see, we need a comma over here. And it should be small c. Okay, now let's go ahead and save it, run the app. Okay, here we are. We have this same background as depicted in this picture. Okay, so we are done with this first background. Now we want to draw this white background over here with border like this one. Let's go ahead and do it. So to do that, we want them to be children of this blue container. Okay, so let's go ahead and call the child widget, or child property, I would say. For this one, I guess it should be here. Okay, all right, so within that we'll use a stack widget to wrap them around, and the stack widget once again take children. So the first one is a position widget, and the position widget should take a container because we want to draw this one using a container. So let's go ahead and do it, container. All right, and do remember that positioned widget has top, left, right properties. So we'll assign top equal 80 and left 0, because we want it to have certain distance from the top and no distance from the left. Okay, all right, so now we have this positioned widget. So what I could do, copy paste some of the earlier code so that we can save time. So now over here I've given this widget with 300 and height 100, and then box decoration, and we are using border radius, top left, top right, and bottom right. Okay, so now let's go ahead and save and see the result. Yes, perfect. So that's what we wanted. Okay, so now the next thing we want to do is draw this text over here, the text we have over here. Okay, again let's do it using positioned widget. Okay, all right, so within position widget, what we could do, we can just simply call text widget, and we can pass a text here. So our text is your books. Okay, and we can assign it style though. So style, say text style. The first thing we want to do is font size, say 20, and we might also need to assign it color. So we do color OXFF363F93. okay, and this position widget also has a position. So now we want it to have certain distance from the top. Okay, so say top 110 and left say 20, so there should be a little distance from there. Okay, let's save it and see the result. Okay, so now it's looking much better. So we are done with this section. Next we'll draw this one. Okay, this card will have a big container like this. Okay, big container. Within that container we'll have a material container, and material container would contain another container, okay, to draw this card. So we'll wrap everything around a container, and within container we'll have stack, and within stack we'll have positioned widgets so that we can overlap onto each other, and within position widget we'll have a container widget to draw each of them. And for drawing the shadow, one of the containers we'll put inside the material widget. So let's go ahead and do it. So the first thing we want to do is create a container widget. Okay, and we want to give it a height. So let's give it height, say 230. And then now we'll have child, and we'll use a stack widget. And of course we need children. And within children, the first one is a positioned widget, and this would be a material widget. We are using material widget to draw this one like a card, but instead of card widget, because with material widget you can have better control on the shadow. So that's the idea. All right, so this card, invisible card with the background, is 230, and within it we want to draw this card using material widget, and that's what we have done. Okay, and material widget also take child. Within child we want to draw a container, so the actual container for this card. So let's go ahead and do it. So I've done some quick coding over here. Okay, so this card has white background, and the height is 180, as you can see, and the width would be 90% of the screen or the parent widget. And then we have the box decoration, the color is white, the actual white color, and then we have border radius is 0, but we want the shadow, okay, this shadow. So that's why we have used gray, and opacity 0.3%, and we want the shadow to go on the left, so that's why X is minus, and we want also the Y shadow, or shadow on Y axis, to go down, so that's why we have used 10, and blur radius 20, and spread radius 4. The higher there, the more obvious the shadow is. Okay, all right, now one thing is missing, because position widget takes top in general, top and left property. Okay, so what we could do, we could go ahead and run it and see the result. Okay, so it's pretty much like this, and well, in future, because we want to draw this image, so we need to put it down a little bit, otherwise it would be too close. So that's why what I would do, I would give it say top position. So top, we want to come down a little bit, 35. Okay, so now let's go ahead, save it, and see the result. Better? Yeah, perfect. So that's what we want. So now it's looking better. So the next thing we'll do, we want to draw an image over here on the top of it. Okay, to draw the image, we'll once again use a positioned widget. So let's go ahead and define a position widget, position, and the child. Here we'll be using over here we'll be using as a child a card widget. Okay, so I already have the code for the card widget so that I don't have to type everything. So as you can see it from here. Now let me walk you through. So this card is what we could do first. Let us assign it top position, say top 0, and left say 30. Well, when we say top 0, so in this case this is when we say top 0, so it's coming from this container. So this is the parent container, as I said earlier. Okay, it's the height is a little bigger, so top 0, so the image would be over here. Okay, do remember for this one we came down a little bit, as we saw early, 35 top position. And now for next, the one image we want to draw, for that one the top is same as the parent container. So let's go ahead, save it, and run the result. Okay, perfect. So that's what is happening over here. So now the card widget is very simple. So it has a rounded border, as you can see, and border is 15. And then to contain or show the image, so we have used a container widget, and we have assigned the container widget the height and width, and we also want the image to contain the whole background or the whole container. So that's why we have done box fit fill, and then we have used the image, and this image is saved in our asset folder, so you can put it anywhere you like. So hopefully it should make sense. So let me go through it once again. So the parent container has height 230, and now this image is the top position is same as the parent container, so which is over here, and we want to push a little bit to the left. So this is 30 pixel, and this one white card was 20 pixel from the left. Okay, now we'll draw this text over here. The text again sits inside the container, the parent widget. So as you can see, it came down a little bit, and to do that we want to use a position widget once again, and the position widget will have a container. So let's go ahead and draw a container. Okay, and within this container we want everything to be aligned in a column. So what we can do, we can call child and column. Okay, and column text children. Okay, perfect. And now once again, because this is positioned widget, so we want to assign the top property, say around 45. So parent widget sits there, as we saw early, so it comes down a little bit, 45 over here. All right, and now we have this container. So this container is over here, so let's assign it width and height. We want to draw this text over here. So text, we can wrap it around the text widget. Okay, and the first one is called big miracles, and then we want to assign it style, text style, and font size say 20, and color say color OXFF363F93. Okay, so that's what we have. So now let's go ahead and save it and see the result. But of course we don't see the text anywhere. Most probably is hidden under this image, because we just have the top property, but we don't have this left property. So assign it left and see what happens. So left, yeah, perfect. So now we also wanted the text widget to be bold. So font weight dot bold. All right, so now let's see. Perfect. So the next one, we want to draw other widgets over here, so I will be drawing very quickly. To do that, just let's go ahead and copy paste, and say Dylan Ahmed, and let's change the font size to 16, and color say colors.gray, is it gray? And let's see. Perfect. And the next one, we want to draw a divider, so it's pretty easy. So let's go ahead and call the divider widget and give it colors.black. and the last text widget is over here down there. So we have a divider, and the last one is for descriptions. So it's larger than life. Perfect. Okay, but now they're a bit weird and too much on the left. So one thing we could do, we can assign a cross-axis property or cross-axis alignment. Start. Let's see. Okay. Well, now we see they're too much on the left, so we want to change the position. Few things we could do. The first thing, we want to come down a little bit from the top. So instead of 45, let's do 60, and the left, instead of 160, let's go ahead and do 200. Okay, and also over here the width we want to change a little bit, so we don't want so much width, so let's do 160, otherwise the divider would go on the left. Okay, perfect. Now we are done with this card. It's looking much better now. Okay, now we'll draw this card over here, this card. Okay, so this card and the cards down there, there would be a list, and the list would be scrollable. We'd be able to scroll it up and down. So that's why we need to wrap it around an expanded widget, and expanded widget will contain list view, as these cards would be part of the list. Okay, so let's go ahead and declare expanded widget, and it will have a child. In our case, the child is a list view. Okay, and the list view would take children. All right, so each of them are children of the list view. Now I have the code ready for each of this card, so let's go ahead and copy paste it, and I'll explain what's happening over here. And actually it's pretty straightforward though. The container, this is the container. This container contains this shadow and the blue background. Okay, and we have given some margin and padding at the same time, and the height is 200. And next, the actual container, which is the blue background. Okay, this blue background as the color is over here, and we have used box decoration so that we'd be able to draw border, and we only want one border, a left border, so that's why we have defined border radius dot only bottom left. So on the left, of course you can do on the right, anywhere you want. And then for drawing the shadow, we have the same color, the blue color, and then with opacity 0.3, you can play around with this. And because we want the border, the shadow would be on the left, so that's why minus. If you want the shadow to be on the right, then you should do plus. And top and bottom shadow, they didn't change, so we have a little bit top shadow and a bottom shadow. So let's see it in the simulator. Let's save it and see the result. Perfect. So that's what we wanted to see. All right, and the next thing we want to draw is well, so before we go ahead and draw the next one, let me tell you what else is happening. So this padding is for drawing the text, so we have a little bit of padding over here, and the text itself is in a column. Okay, so this part should be very simple for you guys. Okay, so it's a column for drawing this two text line, and we have used a bit of height between them. All right, so that's it. This part is pretty simple though. So the main part in this section is this container and the box shadow itself, and that's what makes it beautiful. Okay, so now we want to draw another card right below it. So let's go ahead and draw it. So what we could do, we can just copy paste the earlier container, this one. Okay, now let's see. Okay, now this list view, we need to wrap it around another widget, and that widget would remove the padding, top padding, and most probably bottom padding, but in our case we'll just remove top padding. So that widget is called media query dot remove padding. Yes, perfect. So that's what we wanted. And all we need to do, we need to move this up. Okay, now this list view is wrapped around this media query dot remove padding widget, which removes the widget if a list view has widget. And another thing we need to mention is it's called remove top to true. Okay, so now it should do the work. Let's save it, and perfect. So as you see now, this padding has been removed, and this distance is okay with me. All right, and but the next thing we need to do is, you see earlier in the picture we have seen that they have kind of the border the opposite, right? So this is on the left, this is on the right, but now we need to change this from left to right. We can do it easily. So let's find the second second container, and this is the second container, and this container is applying on the bottom left. So instead of bottom left, we can do top right. And now let's save it. Perfect. So that's what we wanted, right? And the other thing here is missing from the original picture. It is this shadow over here. Okay, so let's go ahead and apply the shadow. So we can copy this shadow from here, and let's find our container. This is the container, and over here we can apply the shadow, I guess. So all we need to do, call box shadow, and within it we just copy paste our shadow. All right, and now let's save it and see the result. Yes, perfect. So our shadow is over here. So right now I guess it's looking good. Okay, so you can do many different things with this if you play around with the shadow. And hopefully you like the video, and if you learn something new, please share it with your friends, and don't forget to subscribe, and also smash that like button. That would help us, this channel, and this would encourage me to make more good videos. So thank you so much.